Alright, hello everyone, it's Teamrocketdraws here with another Pokemon drawing tutorial. And for this video, we're going to be drawing one of the legendary Pokemon from Diamond and Pearl, Palkia. So as you guys can see on screen, this is how he ends up looking like. So if you guys want to learn how to draw him, then let's get started. I'm also going to put up a reference right now on screen. That way it's easier for you guys to draw, and at the same time you guys can get all your details. Just keep in mind, guys, that he's not going to end up looking like the reference 100%, but we do end up getting pretty close. So and just remember that to do your line slide, because we are going to be doing a sketch, and then from there on you guys are going to do your final drawing. So the closer you guys make the shapes at the beginning, guys, the easier it's going to be to follow the tutorial. So let's get started. First, we're going to do this oval shape at an angle right here, and then we're going to do a line at the top. This is basically a reference line. This is going to help us do another shape that we're going to do on the other side. It basically it lines up with the top, and then right there I'll just do a line. I'm just trying to point out that it should be the same thickness as the first shape that we did. It was basically like another circle or oval, guys. This one's a little bit weird, like awkward shape, but it's basically, it should be basically the same size in a way. I know this one I made mine a little bit bigger, but you guys can make it a little bit smaller than I have if you guys want. But just try to get those the same, like that, the way I have it. So now we could do right here, just pointing out the thickness. I could do this line. It should basically be the thickness of one of the circles. And then we're just gonna do this other shape, and it starts off almost at the side of this circle that we did at the beginning, and then it connects to this one around there. Basically that's gonna be like the stomach or the bottom part of Palkia. The first circle that we did is like the shoulder. The second one, it's like the torso area, and then the bottom is like the bottom of Palkia. So now we're gonna do one of the legs, and this leg actually sticks out from that circle right there. Right now we're gonna do this reference line at the bottom. Right there, it should basically start around there. That reference line, it should basically go that low compared to the bottom of Palkia. And then we could just do this. And these reference lines, guys, are just to help us. You guys don't have to do them, but it just makes a lot easier for you guys to follow, you know, to get a better idea of how long to do something, or how far to do it, how big, and all that. So overall it just helps us. Alright, so now we're gonna do the triangle shape. It's on this side right there on that leg. It's basically right in the middle, the length of the leg, and this side starts right off the body, the bottom of Palkia, and it basically does this like triangle shape, and basically that's gonna be the bottom of his foot. There we go. So now around here we're gonna do the other leg. Starts around here, and then it should basically line up with the bottom of his foot right there. Just give you guys an idea. If you guys look at the reference, you guys might see that it's roughly the same length. You know, it's not exactly that length, but just to make it easier on you guys, you know. And then we could do the other leg. And one of the things that you guys could check is, you know, if you guys look at the reference, they're basically the same thickness, you know, so it really helps pointing that out or checking that out, you know, small details. So right there around the bottom of Palkia, I do that reference line just to give you guys an idea of where this foot starts, and it connects to around there, and it should basically be the same length as the triangle on the other side. And I know right, this one I did a circle, and the other one I did a triangle, but once we do the final details, you guys will see why I did that. So now we're gonna do this neck area, and this one it basically lines up with the top of the circles, and then the top starts around there, right in between them, and it just makes this like rectangle shape, but it's curved. Right there I was just pointing out that it should be the same thickness as the legs in a way, roughly. And yeah, basically that's like the neck area. Alright, so now for one of the wings, the wing starts around there, and it goes it basically lines up with the with this foot right there where it starts, you know. and then it starts right here almost at the top of the circle, and then we could do a reference line going on top of the neck area, just to help us know how high to place it. And then I gotta say around here on this side, that far away from the foot, we could just do this reference line, and it basically gives us like that point to do the wing, you know. Right here we're just trying to make it proportional to his body, the way the reference has it, you know. So you guys don't have to do those reference lines. It's just to make it a little bit easier. It might help some of you guys and it might not help others, you know, but I added just in case, just so if it helps at all. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of talking weird at times, guys. Like I stopped. It's just this is my second time recording this. The first time my program completely messed it up, and I liked how I did it, you know. But I was talking for 40 minutes, so doing it again, you know, talking for 40 minutes non-stop, it kind of messes with your speech a little bit. So now we're gonna do like the top blade of Palkia right there. It gets thinner as it gets closer to the chest area, and now we're gonna do the other wings on the other side, the other wing, and it starts it comes away from the neck a little bit. There we go. And if you guys notice, it goes a little bit higher than the other wing, and then the blade on top. If you guys look at the reference, the wing's a little bit higher than the blade on top of Palkia's head, but it doesn't really matter, you know. And right here we're gonna do the forearm. Just wait, guys, don't do this line. I make it a little bit easier in just a little bit. I do erase this line in a little bit. Basically, the best way to do it is by doing this line that I'm about to do right here, and just do it straight, and it should almost touch the that part of the leg. And basically that's gonna be like the middle of the forearm, you know. And just by having that, it's gonna be a little bit easier to make the forearm and the hand. I erased that line like I said before, so if you guys did it, I recommend you guys erasing it. That way it's not that confusing once we do the other lines, you know. So basically the bottom right there is like the purple part of Palkia's hand. This is basically the top. So now we're gonna do this line and extend it. It opens a little bit as it goes higher. The same thing on this side, but on this side it barely sticks out away from the leg right there. And then right here, once we curve it, it gets really close to the first circle that we did. It should actually be a little bit closer than I have it, but I do make a small change later on once I do my final drawing. Now we could finish the bottom rectangle. It's basically like the purple rectangle that Palkia has on top of his hand. Basically the top of his hand. If you guys look at the reference, you guys might know what I'm talking about. Right there was basically like where his hand's gonna stick out. Alright, so now that we have that, we can start by doing the tail. The tail starts around there, like almost, I think, like in the middle of the foot. And then it sticks out from the leg. I make mine a little bit smaller right here. I do change it later on, but it's just a small thing, you guys. It's not a big deal, you know. I think everybody's gonna make any changes later on, just because Palkia, it's not easy, but he's not hard at the same time. So you're gonna go through some points where it's gonna be a little bit harder than other parts, you know. So we could always make any changes later on. That's why, like I said, we're doing a sketch first, just to make it a lot easier once we do the final drawing. So now that we have that, we can start by adding the details. So right here we're gonna do this like oval shape. It's basically like the purple circle that he has on the shoulder. So if you guys notice, it's not in the middle, it's a little bit more to the left in the middle. And then the way I do it here to do those purple like shapes that he has on the shield, they do these lines. Just try to do the right amount, you know. He has 2, 4, he has 6 lines, or 6 of those shapes, purple shapes. And the way I do it here is just to help me a little bit better on where they go, you know. See, like this one right here, the way I did it, it's way too thick, way too big compared to the reference. On the reference, it's longer than it is thicker. Mine is basically a square. I do work on that later on, you know. Like I said, it's still a sketch. This is just to help us do the final drawing. So the better that you guys make the sketch, the easier it's gonna be to do your final drawing, in other words. And right here I end up erasing it just because on my sketch right there it touches with the other one, and it shouldn't be touching. There's like a small gap in between. So don't be afraid of making any changes, you know. If something doesn't seem right, you guys could always change it, even though it's not like the reference or like my sketch, you know. It doesn't have to be like the reference or mine. If there's any changes that you can make to your drawing, then go ahead, you know. As long as it looks good on your drawing, then the better, you know. So now we could just do the rest of the details. So this is where I make my mistake, guys. So I recommend that you guys do this shape a little bit further away from the circle. Right here I made it way too close. It's basically the bottom of his mouth. I end up making my face way too long and way too big. So that's where I make my mistake. So maybe you guys can just make your mouth a little bit smaller. Just make a bigger gap in between the circle and that shape that we did right now. That's the only thing that I wish I would have changed, you know. But at the same time, I know it didn't look right, but it didn't bother me, so I left it that way, you know. But I think the biggest thing that the flaw, I guess, on my drawing is just the face. It doesn't look right, but it still looks like Palkia if you guys don't compare it to the reference. Alright, so now we could do the bottom, the inside of the mouth, I guess. And then it goes into like this fang or claw or whatever it is on the jaw area. See, like right there, guys, it's too close to the body, you know. So I recommend just making that a lot smaller, you know, a lot closer to the right side of the neck than the way I have it. Mine's way too close to the circle, so I recommend just making it a little bit more to the right than I have it. So now we could do the shape right there. Basically is the bottom of the top of his face, I guess. And then right there, I start right there at the top of that fang or claw or whatever, just because I know in the reference it's right there, you know, the top of his face, or the shield, the forehead. It's really hard to name stuff, guys. So right there on the right side, it sticks out a little bit right there, and then it should basically line up right there, really close to that fang. I'm gonna call it a fang, guys, even though it might not be a fang, but maybe just so we could be on the same page where we're talking about. Getting tired, guys. Talking for an hour is not easy. So right there, I actually line it up with the mouth, and it's not actually lined up. But for some reason I did do it. If anything, it's lined up with the outside of the face right there, but what I was doing right there is the inside of where the eye is. That's why I move away from it. And this is where I noticed that it wasn't adding up, you know. That's where I was gonna do the outside of the shield right there, the face. There we go. And then that's the inside line, and then the eye should be right in the middle right there. See right there, I could have fixed maybe the right side if I wasn't happy with the left side. Knowing that it was too long the face, I could have fixed the left side of the face or the right side. Right here, maybe I could have just fixed the right side, you know. I could have made it a little bit closer, more to the left, you know, erased a little bit. But then it should connect around there. Probably this is one of the hardest parts of Palkia, or one of the parts that you guys might have the most trouble, just because it's really hard to explain it, you know. It's not easy showing you how to draw this part. The best thing you could do is just try to follow the way I have it right here compared to our sketch at the beginning, the shapes that we did, and then maybe just going from there, you know. And then he has those two lines, basically like the purple part on his face. So right there, yeah, mine doesn't look good, guys. I'm sorry. And then he has like the other claw or the other fang right there sticking out. You can barely see it. Yeah, mine looks too simple. Mine looks more, how should I say, like more caveman-like. I don't know how to explain it. It's more simple, more rough. Another of those things that it's kind of hard to explain is doing this pattern that he has on his neck and chest. But just look at where I'm doing the lines compared to the circle, and just try to do it on yours. Should be around there, and it just connects to the neck right there. And then this is the top part of the pattern, so it doesn't connect to the shield, and it should connect to around there. If it's easier for you guys just to look at the reference, then go ahead and just look at the reference, you know. But just look at the way where I placed it compared to the circle that we did, just so you guys can get an idea of where it goes roughly. I didn't like how I placed it there, so I do change it. Once you guys add something or do it, it's a lot easier to notice if it doesn't look right, so it's gonna be easier to make any changes and just overall make it a lot better, you know. That's why we do the sketch, just because it's there just to help us, give us an idea where everything goes, and then once you do your final drawing, then you basically have a rough idea of how everything, of where everything should be or how everything should go. So I really recommend just doing sketches overall when you're drawing, you know, instead of just going for the drawing. It helps a lot just doing sketches, just doing like simple shapes, you know. It just makes it a lot easier. I recommend you guys doing that. And now my throat's starting to hurt. I think my voice is changing because I've been talking for like 45 minutes. Alright, so now for the wing. It has this, like, it's a little bit, it's almost halfway. It's not necessarily halfway, but it has this triangle shape, and then it curves at the bottom. And then we're gonna split this line in 3 parts. Should try to make each part the same length, you know, and then we could just do these lines. So it helps just moving from one part to the other, guys, not just going from one part and just following as you go, you know. It helps just doing one part and then going to the other and then to the other, you know. It basically, it's like a start each time, like a fresh new start in a different spot, and overall it just makes it a lot easier on you, you know, on your brain. So now right there is like the chest area. Now we can move down here to the bottom of Palkia. Never mind, I guess we go to the wing. So around halfway of the wing, length of the wing, we're basically gonna do this right here, and then it curves at the bottom where it meets the shoe. I'm sorry guys, I had a burp. Where it meets the shoulder. It took me a minute to remember what that was called. Alright, so on this side, the top wing is actually a little bit bigger than the other two. It might take you guys a couple of tries just to place these wings. Right here, my sketch, it doesn't turn out well. For some reason, I curved the end of this wing right there, and then the one at the bottom. I don't know why I curved it. It shouldn't be curved at all, but for some reason I do, and it just looks kind of weird once I do my final sketch of this part. But I do fix it once I do my final drawing, which I'll show you guys later on how I do it step by step. See right there, I curve it. For some reason I curve it down the points. But just by having these details, guys, you guys are starting to see Palkia, you know. The details is what makes the drawing. So the more that we add, the better it looks, and the easier it is to see what we're drawing. So now that we have that, we can start by doing the claws. So we're gonna start off by doing the one in the middle. So right in the middle of that rectangle shape, we're gonna do this triangle shape, and it's basically the claw. And if you guys notice, it goes a little bit further than the leg. And then we could just do this other one right here, and then the other one on the other side. And if you guys notice, this one that we're doing is smaller than the one in the middle, and the one in the middle is longer than the one on the right side, the one all the way on the right. It's just small details that overall might make a little difference, you know. It's not a big thing. And then this claw should be the biggest one overall, not by much, but if you guys pay close attention, you guys will see what I'm talking about. It's something that you guys might not even notice, or maybe not even care, you know. You guys can just make them the same size. And then this one's basically the smallest one. The only thing is, try to do this one smaller, even if you guys do the other ones the same size, just because it is a little bit further away from us, so it is going to be a little bit smaller, you know. Alright guys, so now for the bottom right here, this is basically this line that connects to the arm. And if you guys look at the reference, it's basically like right in the black part, the gray part on his stomach. And this is another of the harder parts to do, Palkia. These purple tubes that go down his bottom. Right here I'm just doing like the top, it's like a triangle shape. And there's like a small gap, and then we could do the other one. I do erase this one in just a little bit, and I make it a little bit more to the right, just because this triangle shape that I'm doing right here is basically the top. If you guys look at the reference, you guys might see what I'm talking about, or what I'm trying to do. And then it basically connects right here at the bottom. It should be a little bit more to the right, in other words, so I do erase it right here. And I make the triangle shape a little bit off that line that we did, off the circle that we did, the bottom one, that is. So now I could do the shape, and I think I placed that line on the same spot, and then we could just connect them right there in the middle. There we go. And just keep going, guys. Even if you're having a hard time doing it, just keep working on it, you know. Do the best that you can. Remember, this is still a sketch. Maybe later on, once you add more, it's gonna be able to be easier to change stuff, you know. Just because you could base it off other stuff other than just each other. Hopefully now you guys are able to see what I was talking about, what I was trying to do compared to the reference. Alright, so now that we have that, we could do the bottom of this foot, or this foot, I guess. So what we could do is just do a reference line right there and split it right in the middle, and this is gonna help us do the claws. That one is the biggest one out of all of them. There we go. And then we could barely see the last one right there. And now right here we could just do these lines that he has on top of the claws, and just look at where they come from, you know. Just try to do the same amount, and just try to make them stick out at the right spots as it does on the reference. For example, that claw has two of them, I think. One right there where it starts, I don't think he even touches the claw. Then one on the claw, the other one's almost in the middle. And then it has this like purple shape right there. You guys look at the reference, it's basically like the bottom part is like the purple part on the bottom of his foot that you guys are able to see a little bit. And yeah, guys, the more details we add, the more it's starting to look like the reference. So hopefully you guys are able to do it too. So the same thing on this leg, this foot, we could split it in half, and now we could do the claws. We could start off by doing the one in the middle. One of the things that I recommend looking at or paying attention to is the size of the claws right there. They are claws, right? I think they're claws. I don't know, guys. Basically the feet, the claws and the feet. they're the same length almost, and the same thickness and size and everything on either leg. So that's one of those things that you guys might want to pay attention to. You know, try to make them the same thickness and the same length in a way. Although I think the ones on the left are a little bit thicker, but not by much. So now right here I'm just doing the detail on the tail. There we go. And my throat is starting to hurt, guys. I'm sorry. I like the first voiceover that I did, and then the program messed it up, so now I had to redo it again, and now my throat hurts because I've been talking for so long and I'm tired. But hopefully it's all worth it. Hopefully I'm able to help you guys. Alright, so right here we're gonna start off by doing the other hand. Cut that, just do a line right in between that, and then we could do this like triangle shape, rectangle I mean, on this side. Oh, my throat hurts, guys. I need water. I didn't bring any. Alright, so now this is like the purple part, and then we could just start by doing the claws. There we go. And Palkia, guys, was actually highly requested, to be honest. I've done what's the other one called? I forgot the other one. Palkia, Dialga. I did Dialga, tutorial on Dialga, and everybody after I did that one was asking for Palkia. So hopefully all of you that asked me to do the tutorial on Palkia are watching it, you know. Let me know in the comment section if you guys got this far. Let me know if you guys are attempting to do it, or let me know how far you guys are, you know, how good you're doing, how well your sketch is doing. Let me know if I'm helping, you know. I would love to know how many people are following my tutorial. So please leave a comment, guys. Right now, pause the video, let me know in the comment section. I read every comment, so I would really appreciate if you guys left a comment letting me know that you're this far and you're following my tutorial. So right here I'm just doing the shape of the leg, and we're basically done, guys. We're basically done with the sketch. The only thing we need now, I think, it's just erasing any reference lines, and I think we forgot to do the chest area. So right here is basically like a straight line, and it just curves in a little bit into the neck, and then the bottom of the chest on the other side is basically a straight line too, that goes into the arm, the shield. So yeah, guys, so there's a lot of ways about going after this. I'll show you guys what I do. Usually what I do is I erase my sketch, and then I follow the sketch. Even though I erase it, I can still see it, you know, the lines are still there, and then I just do my final drawing based off of my sketch. You know, a lot of people, what they do is that, oh, I guess we forgot the forearm, so we're gonna do that line right there in the middle on the left side, and we're gonna do this like really long French fry shape. I was gonna say rectangle, but usually a rectangle is on its side, so the closest I got was a French fry. Maybe it's easier for you guys to see. So now another one on this side. I think that's the best way to describe it, guys. And just try to make each French fry the same thickness, you know, just because if you guys look at the reference, they're almost the same thickness. Now we can start the right side of this one right here, this French fry, and it goes a little bit higher. It almost touches the shield on top, the shoulder, and there, that's the other side of the French fry. And then we could just connect it, each one in the middle. It ends like a point in the middle, goes down. And there we go. But yeah, guys, so after this, you guys could go ahead and do your final drawing. You guys could either just make any changes now, you know, go back to your sketch, and then if there's anything that you guys could change, then go ahead, you know. A lot of people, they make their changes on their sketch, but it's a little bit confusing for me to do it that way. So what I like to do is I erase my whole drawing. I'll show you guys in just a little bit. Other people, what they do is they just work on their sketch and make those changes on their sketch, and then they just trace their final drawing on another paper just so they could have a clear paper, you know, a better paper. Other people, they just leave their sketch like that. They use their sketch as their final drawing, and if you guys like it, then by all means, you know. But I like to make mine a little bit more cleaner, you know. So I do end up erasing and just redrawing it, and just taking my time following the sketch, you know. Because even though it's our sketch, it's still rough, you know. It's not the final thing. You guys could have it as your final drawing or whatever outline, but I like to erase mine just to make better lines, you know. It looks a lot cleaner, a lot better. So here you guys can see me erasing my drawing, and even though I'm erasing it, guys, I can still see those lines. You guys will be able to see right now, just just in a little bit, once I show you guys the steps that I take to making my final outline. So right here I just erase the most I can, you know, just to make it a little bit cleaner, and then that's where I make my final changes. There we go. So I always pick a spot to start off. Usually it's like on the face area, but just because I knew that the face wasn't I wasn't happy with the face and it didn't look right, I didn't want to base the rest off the face, you know. So I picked the spot, you know, and I picked the shield. It was a good spot. It was like right in the middle, so I just went ahead and then just followed my sketch, you know. You guys might be able to still see those lines that I erased. On the video it's a little bit harder to see them, but on real life, like in person, you guys can see them. They're more visible, in other words. So it's a lot easier for me to follow my sketch, you know. So it's basically the same. I placed everything on the same spot, but I just worked on the shapes a little bit more. Like I said before, one of the purple shapes that he has on the shield, mine was like a square. If you guys notice now, I fixed that. So I just made it a little bit better. I looked at the reference, you know, and I followed my sketch, you know, where I placed everything, but I just made the lines a lot better. I worked on basically that's it. I just made the shapes different, you know. I made them better. This is where I like to pay close attention to reference, you know, take my time. Usually it takes me longer doing my final outline than it does doing the sketch. So right here I did the wings and part of the torso. One of the things that I want to point out on the wings is that if you guys notice, for example, on the left wing, like on the picture, not his actual left wing, but the left wing, the one that you guys can see the most of. I'm just confusing myself and you guys. But if you guys notice, the top one is a lot longer than the bottom two. And if you guys notice on our sketch, we basically just did a straight line, you know. And that's one of those small details that you guys might want to pay attention to the reference, you know, and doing, just because it does make a difference. The sketch is there. There's just a rough sketch, you know, shapes. It's just there to help us place everything, you know. Just because we did the shape of the wing like that doesn't mean that we have to follow the line, you know. It's just there to help us do our final outline. So that's one of those things I want to point out. So just don't get confused. Don't base everything off your sketch, off the rough sketch, the shapes and everything, just because you guys are not supposed to, you know. The sketch is there just to help us. And I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself, but I'm just trying to get my point across, you know. So now here I did the forearm and the bottom of Palkia. So if you guys notice, I did the forearm a little bit better. Now that we don't have those reference lines, those reference shapes that we did at the beginning, it's a lot clearer now, you know. It's a lot better. So like I said before, I worked on the details a little bit. I basically left everything on the same spot just because I like where I placed everything. But if on your drawing you guys don't like, if something didn't add up right, you guys could always change it, you know. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look like the reference, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look like my outline. As long as it looks good on your drawing, go ahead and make any changes. So yeah, I just want to say that. So now right here I did the legs and the feet. If you guys notice, the claws, the feet basically are the same, roughly the same size, the same thickness. Like I said before on the sketch, you know, just try to make it the same, just because it's easier to do the final outline following your sketch, you know. So the better that you guys make your sketch, the easier it's gonna be doing your final drawing, like I said at the beginning of the video. And I did make my tail a little bit thicker. Like I said before, I did change it, but now that I'm looking at it, I didn't notice it when I was drawing it, but it's a lot thicker than it is on the reference. Maybe if I curve the line on top, the top of the tail basically a little bit more down, it would have made it look a lot better, but it's still okay, you know. Right now you guys might notice a lot of different things just because I have the reference up there, you know, side by side, so it's easy to point out any mistakes that I might have done. But if you guys just look at my drawing, you know, you guys really wouldn't be able to notice all those mistakes or things that don't look the same as the reference. One of the things that I didn't end up liking was the face. If you guys look at it, it's way too big compared to the body, way too big compared to the reference, you know. I made mine too long. One of the things that I think maybe if I would have done the mouth a little bit smaller, it would have looked a lot better, but I didn't like how it basically ended up, you know. Mine looks more like a how should I say, like a caveman look, you know. It's a little bit more simple. In other words, you know, it's not that great, but it still looks like Palkia. You know, if you guys compare it to the reference, obviously it's gonna look different, it's gonna look weird, mine's not gonna look the same, it's gonna look off. But it's just a face. Like I said, the rest of the body I'm happy with it. Look at the outline, you know, compare them. Like I said, there's obviously it's not gonna look the same, but it's roughly the same, you know. It looks alright. There's nothing that bad. The only thing maybe is the wings. The angle of the wings is not the right angle, but overall it's still okay, you know. It's not a big deal, but just the face just overall doesn't look right just because I made mine way too big. So hopefully you guys could make those changes on your drawing, that all those mistakes that I made, you know, fix them on your drawing. I'm sorry that I can't go closer into detail on doing the face, just because as you guys can see I had a hard time also. So yeah, so I hope at least I helped in any way. And I'm stuttering over here, I'm sorry. Like I said, I've been talking for more than an hour now, so I'm tired, guys. My mouth, I'm just tired, you know. So I'm sorry, but I just wanted to get this tutorial out there for you guys. I haven't put out a tutorial in a while, so if you guys got this far, guys, let me know in the comment section. Please let me know if you guys didn't do Palkia. And here is the final. I did end up coloring them basically, and it's not the right colors, guys. So if you guys look at it now, just looking at it, just color just makes it look a lot different. Just the face, I like the body. Like I said before, the body looks okay. It's just the face, you know. I did my face way too big, but it's an honest mistake, you know. I don't mind. I knew it didn't look right when I was doing the final outline, but it didn't bother me that much, you know. I thought it was okay. It wasn't a big deal. But once you have it side by side next to the references, obviously you guys are gonna notice all those different things, you know. Because when I do my drawings, I have my reference on my tablet, which is a lot smaller. Here you guys have it side by side, so yeah, it's easy to notice everything. But yeah, so the colors I use is just basically a really light gray, the lightest gray that I had for the body. And then the same, it's a marker, it's their Prisma Premier color marker, just in case you guys are wondering what I used for the gray. And then I just waited for the gray to dry, and then I went over like the shadow, the darker spots with the same gray. And it just makes it a little bit darker, you know. And then I waited for those medium shadows to dry, and then I went over it with the same gray to do the darker spots on some parts of the body, you know. And then for the purple spots, I actually use Sharpies. I use fine tip Sharpies. I use two different ones. I use like the lighter purple and then a darker purple. And then I just tried my best to blend them, although it's not easy to blend Sharpies, but I think I did a good job, you know. It's not the right purple as you guys see on the reference, but I used what I had, you know. That was the closest purple I had to use for Palkia, so I think it's still okay. Obviously it's not the same, but like I said, it's the colors that I had on hand to do them. So I don't color my drawings, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not that good at coloring, you know. But I try to color my drawings for these videos, just for you guys. And then I just like to explain what I do. And then for like the inside of the shield or the shoulder, I use like this peach color, and then I did the highlights, the white highlights with a gel pen. The same thing for the if you guys look at the edge of the shoulder, it has like white lines, white highlights. I used my gel pen for that. And then I didn't have a different, like a cooler color gray for the, basically like the metal part, basically like his face and the top of his head, the whatever it is. I didn't have the right gray, so what I ended up doing is just using the same gray I did for the body, and then I just went over it with the gel pen, and then just completely went over it, and then waited for that to dry a little bit, and then went over it with the gray, just because I didn't want to make it the same gray. I didn't have a different gray, you know. The closest gray, the other gray that I had was a really dark gray, so obviously it wasn't gonna work out. And if I used the same gray as I did for the body, then it was obviously not gonna look right, just because the grays, his body is a lot warmer, and the face and the top of his head, the gray is a lot cooler, metal looking color, you know. So it's a lot, it's hard to reproduce, but overall I think it came out alright, guys. It's not the best, but it still came out alright, you know. If you guys still look at my drawing without looking at the reference, it's still gonna look okay, you know. So I think that's what matters in the end. So hopefully I was able to help you guys in any way, guys. Let me know in the comment section, like I said before, if you guys did end up drawing Palkia. If you guys got this far, let me know. If you guys watched the whole video, let me know. Say, oh, I followed your tutorial and I watched the whole video. I would love to know how many people actually did that, you know. Also, leave a like, guys. It really helps out my channel. It just helps my videos get out there, you know. By having more likes, it's easier for my videos to show up for other people to draw them. So the more people I can help, the better, you know. But that's the reason I'm doing my tutorials. So hopefully I was able to help in any way. If you guys haven't seen my other videos, make sure to go check them out. I have over 100 Pokemon drawing tutorials, so make sure to go check them out. Maybe I've done a tutorial of a Pokemon that you guys want me to draw. If not, then you guys could always leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll try my best to do them as soon as I can. But just remember that there's so many tutorials I need to do. It's really hard to keep up with everybody, you know, especially now that I have over how many subscribers? 30 something hundred. I forgot how many subscribers I have, guys, but it's over 3,000, which is honestly crazy. But I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I guess I'll just catch you guys on the next video. But remember, guys, if you guys want me to feature your drawings on my other videos, like the ones you saw at the beginning of this one, make sure to send them in. The links will be in the description to my Twitter, email, and Facebook. I recommend that you guys send them through email or Twitter, just because it's easier for me to see them, and I'll feature them at the beginning of my next video. So I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I guess I'll just catch you guys on the next video. Team Rocket Draws out.